do? How will you start out?
We will start both Teagan Harris, Josh Smith at the 3, Al at the 4, and Johan Petro at the 5.
Oh, good. Okay. And that's even depleted. You want that big man matchup.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think that's important against against a team like Boston. We don't want to start at a disadvantage size-wise at the start of the game. So matchup-wise, we'll try to match up as closely as we can, and as the game progresses, we'll adapt accordingly.
And he showed you quite a bit, I guess, against the Lakers.
Yeah, he played well. He played well. But again, we're in a situation where we're just short big men,
Right.
so he's going to play some minutes. Chances are tonight, Mike Scott will be playing some minutes as well. So we'll just go with what we have.
A couple wild games with this team already this year, as far as they came back from 19 points down. You came back from 27 points down. Are you expecting that type of game with them? Is it always?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? I just know every time we play this team, we have to bring our best game because they're good. They're good. Even with losing Rondo and just in watching their team play, they haven't really missed a beat. Matter of fact, they look stronger to me just from the fact that how they lose a little predictability. I think with Rondo on the floor, the ball's going to be in his hand majority of the time. Now with him being out, the ball is in a lot of different hands, and they're doing a really good job at moving the ball. So to me, they become even tougher to defend. I think on any given night, 3 or 4 guys on that team can have 4 or more assists easily. Just looking at the way they play. But they have really stepped their game up, and to me that's the sign of a good team when you do lose a key player. The guys step up, and certainly if you watch them play last, since Rondo's been out, certainly some guys have really stepped their games up.
You talk about their offense being unpredictable. How about their defense? How difficult has their defense been from what you've seen lately?
Been very, very, they've been very solid. Just looking at, their rotations, their speed, their quickness. They seem to be getting their hands on a lot of balls. They're chasing down loose balls. They're coming up with the 50-50 ball. Defensively, they've really I think they've done a really good job in just being solid. When you play against a team like Boston, it's important. And as I told our guys this morning, we're going to have to do a good job, moving the ball, because they're not a team that's going to allow you to load up on one side and score. They're just too good. We're going to have to do a good job moving the ball from side of the floor to the other. But their defense has certainly stepped up.
How much of a factor is Bradley's on the ball?
That's a big factor. He is one of the best in our league, I think. And just watching this kid, he does a phenomenal job in putting pressure on the basketball, which is somewhat of a lost art on our level. You don't see as many guards up the floor, 94 feet, putting pressure on point guards. And he's probably one of the best in the league. And certainly, particularly our first game we played, that was a little bothersome for us. But we'll have to do a good job to relieve pressure in that regard, because he knows, and you can see the confidence in his ability to move up the floor and put pressure, on the basketball. So we're going to have to do a good job in trying to relieve that pressure.
Why do you think more guards don't do that? They don't want to do it, simply? He wants to do it?
I don't know. I think for some guys, I think it's ingrained in them, the way they play, the style in which they play, who they want to be. Defense is ugly work. It's not pretty work. Some guys don't want to get down in the dirt and in the trenches and play that way. There are some guys that do, though, and he's one of them, and he's good at it. He's very good at it. But no, there's just not enough guys who get up the floor like that. I mean, you see a lot of guys with speed, with quickness, that have the ability, I think, but I don't think it's ingrained in them. I don't think it's instilled in them. Therefore, they don't do it.
Are you guys in a similar position as the Celtics where you have to, balance what seed you can go for and the health that you guys are going to have going into the playoffs? I mean, is that what kind of?
That's
line do
always
you have to cross
that's always a concern. I think as you move down the stretch third of the season, looking at personnel and key players and hopefully you can stay away from injury. That's always a concern. I think as you go down the stretch of the season and knock on wood, you just hope that you guys can finish the season strong, finish healthy. I know. I believe it was a year ago or a couple of years ago we played the Celtics in the playoffs, and through that whole series we had a Josh Smith that basically limped through the playoffs. Tried to play one game and he just couldn't do it, but that's always a concern. But there's nothing that you can do to avoid that. You just hope that through the stretch of the season guys can remain healthy, and once you roll into the playoffs that that you can make it through it without injury.
What are you looking to get out of the team or see out of this team with this game tonight? The Celtics are a game behind you. Tomorrow night's the Nets. They're half game ahead of you.
We take it one at a time. We don't look too far ahead. We won't look behind us. All we do is just, with 22 games to go, we'll take each game one at a time. We'll prepare for each game the way we normally do. Tonight's game is a game where we, as I mentioned, want to come out and play well. We're going to have to bring a playoff mentality. And we're just going to focus on tonight, and then come tomorrow night when we play Brooklyn, and that'll be the next game. But no, we won't look ahead. It'll be one game at a time.
Well, this game has direct implications on playoff standings, but obviously not every game does. How do you get guys to treat every single game as if to understand that just let's say you're playing the Bobcats, not going to affect where you fall just in that one game itself, but understanding that every single game.
It's a mindset. It really is. It's a mindset going into the stretch run of the season, and the importance of every game. And we haven't talked much about playoffs, but in looking at the standings, everybody's kind of bunched up there to 4, 5, and 6. So we won't look too far ahead. We'll just take it a game at a time. Whoever the opponent is, we're going to have to approach each game the same way. Whether you're playing a team that's fighting for a position in the playoffs, whether you're playing a team that's not in the playoffs. We have to approach each game the same, and we take it one at a time. And our focus will be, that particular opponent at that night. And it's my job as a coach to make sure that, that has to be our approach. We cannot underestimate anybody we play. And we just have to take it one game at a time.
Thanks.